Okay, this one came in heavily demanded. I ran another poll over at the School of Hydroponics community, and you guys voted for the Hydro Gardener's Toolbox. Tools and things that we're gonna need to succeed as hydroponic gardeners. So let's get right into it. The first tool that I wanna talk about is our meters. The ways that we're gonna measure our pH, how we're gonna measure our EC, which meters maybe we should get. I'm gonna go over my experiences with the different meters and try to steer you in the right direction. So when I first started off on my hydroponic journey, I just got the $10 meters. I got the really cheap Vivo Sun ones. If I'm gonna be more specific, this one right here, exactly. And I've burnt through about 5 or 6 of those. And the reason being is because they're not totally sealed watertight. So when you store them with a little bit of water in the cap as you're supposed to, it seems like the water actually evaporates through the whole entire device and then corrodes the battery compartment at the top. Because I would end up burning through these meters just like every month or so. So then I finally bought a nicer pH meter. I bought this aerometer and it works really well. If you want a good just pH meter, then you could go with this Apera, or this AC Infinity is also really high quality. It's a really great meter. You're gonna spend a little more, but they're gonna last a lot longer. They're waterproof and they're high quality. However, just last year I saw this meter, which is a pH meter, which is an EC meter. It's AC Infinity, so you know it's gonna be really high quality. And I just had to scoop this one up. So I've been using this one for a year and I haven't looked back. This is the best meter I've ever had. Obviously it's gonna be a lot more at $150, but I offer discount codes if that helps you out. Humble Growth. You can use that as a discount code at Amazon or at acinfinity.com to get 5% off Amazon and 10% off at acinfinity.com. I'm also going to link everything up in the description box so you can access it a lot easier. I actually made a quick access guide for this video too so that you can see the items and quickly just click on them and get taken to the direct links. So make sure you go download that straight from the description box below. So you're definitely gonna need a pH meter. You're definitely gonna need an EC or TDS meter, and that's gonna be to measure the pH in your water, and that other one's gonna be to measure the EC, TDS, total dissolved solids, or the electrical conductivity, AKA your nutrients. So those are the first 2 tools that you're definitely gonna need unless you go with this all-in-one. The second thing we're gonna need are pH adjusters. So the way that we adjust our pH to go up or down is with this stuff, pH up or down. You can grab this set and they'll last you quite some time because you really only need a tiny little bit of the pH up or down to make your adjustment. People ask me frequently what I use to measure my nutrients, and there's one tool above all the other tools for measuring your nutrients, and I can't recommend it enough. It's called the nutrient needle, or Newt needle for short, and I have mine right here. It's been through it. This is basically just a giant syringe. You load it with your nutrients, and it has milliliter markers right here on the side, and then you just dump it right in. It has 2 different tips. These are interchangeable. There's a longer one, and this is the longer one, and then there's a shorter one, but I pretty much just always leave the longer one on there. This is how I measure and put my nutrients into my garden, so with my Newt needle. The next thing that you're gonna find that you need, and something I wanna talk a little more specifically about, are timers. So we obviously need light timers, but we also need pump timers. Light timers don't have to be quite so specific because we're leaving those on for hours, like 18 hours or 12 hours. But pump timers, when you have a hydroponic garden and you're trying to run a water pump, you don't want to run it for more than 15 minutes per hour. If you run it for much longer than that, it could heat up your water reservoir. You also really want to control the air to water ratio, giving your plants as much air as you possibly can in, say, an aeroponic garden where you'd be running one of these pumps. Let's say you need to replace the timer for a tower garden, or you made your own DIY tower garden. You're gonna need a timer to run your pump. And the thing that you really want to look for on these timers are 2 things. One, that they have the ground plug so that you can plug in the 3-prong pumps. And 2, that they have 15-minute intervals. A lot of timers are just going to do half-an-hour intervals, and that won't really work for a hydroponic garden. You want 15-minute intervals. So that's something you want to look for in your timers, is to make sure that they have the smaller increments of time. Now, the other thing we're going to need are nutrients. If you've been following this channel, you know I recommend General Hydroponics nutrients. Their Flora series is a really great solution for beginners, intermediate, advanced. It's just a one-size-fits-all fantastic hydroponic synthetic blend. That's what I've been using since I started well over a decade ago, and I still use it to this day. I now also use some of the supplements. I use the calcium magnesium, I also use the silica, and I use this bloom booster. But if you're just starting off, I would just recommend picking up the Flora series and a bottle of calcium magnesium. Another tool that you're going to need as a hydroponic gardener is food grade hydrogen peroxide. I use a lot of food grade hydrogen peroxide to keep root rot down in my gardens. It also adds more air to my roots, which is always a great thing. I use a higher solution, like a 12% solution, and mix that down. So you can pick up a gallon of 12% food grade hydrogen peroxide, and let's make sure it's food grade, because the brown bottles, the antiseptic stuff, have stabilizers in them, so they last longer on the shelf. And those can throw off your whole hydroponic garden. So let's make sure we're going with food grade hydrogen peroxide. We're going to add 15 milliliters per gallon every 4 days of hydrogen peroxide as a sanitation and an extra aeration practice for our hydroponic gardens. Now, the last thing you might need, and this would be for a hydroponic or a soil gardener, really anyone who's going to be gardening indoors, a grow light, right? So if you're doing a tower garden, I recommend these Barina grow lights. These are 4-foot long grow lights, and I would recommend getting both sets, the cooler set and the warmer set, and use all 12 of these lights around your tower garden to get the optimal par. Which might sound absolutely ludicrous, but once you really start growing, you realize if you're growing fruiting plants that they need a lot of light if you want to have a really big yield and you want to have a really good fruit. If you want an overhead light, I always go with AC Infinity. One of my first AC Infinity grow lights, and one that I still use, is my AS18, which is just a 1-foot panel light for like a single plant. But if you are going to be growing a larger plant, I'm not sure exactly what you're going to be growing, but I'll tell you on my other channel, The Grow Room, I am working on teaching people how to grow 1-pound plants, if you know what I'm talking about. And for that, I recommend this light. This is the AC Infinity Evo 6. This is a beast of a light, and it comes in over $500. So if you're not looking for something that's going to be for heavy fruiting production, depending on what you're growing, this light, the Evo 3, is a really fantastic light for like growing tomatoes or peppers, more of the indoor home gardener's light. So you might be wondering why I only use AC Infinity lights, and it's because you get the most bang for your buck. You are going to spend a little more, but you get the really, really high-end Samsung diodes. You also get really good design and quality. They're designed in California. They're an American brand, and the quality really stands out. AC Infinity is kind of like Apple products. When you get one and you start to open it and you plug it in, you just realize you have something special, and you feel like you can tell just from the packaging that it's exceptional quality, that they care about the performance numbers, that it's going to outperform the competitors. And they do a really great job. Everything that I've ever gotten from AC Infinity is just the top notch. It's just like the best. I really, really like AC Infinity. I've liked them for a long time, and I'm actually really proud to be one of their affiliates and be able to offer you guys the discount code to all their products. Let me know down in the comments below if you've used AC Infinity products and what you guys think about their products. Also, if I missed anything, let me know that down in the comments below, and I'll be sure to throw that in the guide so that you guys can find anything that I might have missed. All right, well, I hope this has been helpful for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Let's grow together.